Module 3. Today we're going to look at this general design assignment for basic AutoCAD. And the idea here is that we'll learn how to use draw and modify commands. And so we have these 5 plate drawings, and we can then access those by going to Content, Module 3, which is right over here on the side. And then the drawings themselves are in AutoCAD. So I'm going to click on the link here to AutoCAD. And the first one is right here. And it's this plate 6 drawing. And so if I click on that, we'll see that this is basically a drawing that's on an A-size title block, and it's composed of circles and arcs. So let's go into AutoCAD. And what we need is the plate title block. And so I guess before I go to AutoCAD, I can show you where to get that. There's 2 places we can get that. We can either get that from the links in D2L under Content, Title Blocks. And so if we come over here to Title Blocks 2019, we can get the plate title block here. And I think this is a good place. It's also in Module 1 where we did the first 5 plates. And so I'm just going to click Download, and then I'm going to open that. And it says it's done with a student version. Now, if you work on projects from your office and you bring home work, you want to be careful about using a student version because it will put created by a student version on the drawing, and your boss might not like that. So keep that in mind. It's like a tattoo. It's hard to get rid of. So we'll go ahead and open this since we're students and we're working on that. And so here we have our plate title block. If we take a look at what we're doing here, we're working in what's called paper space. That's what this icon means. And what paper space is that it's an environment for printing. Essentially, this is what the paper looks like. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. We have a grid on it. When we draw, we'll see if our snap is enabled. If our snap is not enabled, which it's not, I can tell because it's not grabbing the corners of the grid. What I want to do is I want to turn on grid and snap. Well, grid's on already, so I'll just type snap. And then I'll enable that by hitting the down arrow and selecting on. And so now when I draw any draw command, you'll see that it's snapping to the corners of the grid. And it just makes things more accurate and easy to work with. So we'll start off this drawing by drawing a circle. And I'm just going to go right here. And when I draw the circle, I'm going to go at the 12 o'clock position. If I zoom in a little bit, I can see that my line weight is enabled. It looks a little bit heavier. If I disable the line weight, it looks a little thinner. And these are just things that we're starting to pick up as we do more CAD work. If I want to work with the interface, I can get down here and I can say hide the menu, disable it, show the menu bar. And so I like the menu bar because I can find my commands with words a little easier. But as we go through these, we're just using a few commands right now. And so we'll come back and we'll use the circle command again. We'll hover. And you notice that I get that glyph with a little bit of circle, or the word center. And what that is that is an O snap. And so O snaps are located right here. And what that will do is that it will gravitate to an endpoint, a center, an intersection while you're in a draw command. So you'll get a glyph of a circle when I'm close to the center. Sometimes this gets in the way, and so for right now I'm going to disable it, and we'll just use snap and grid. To disable it, I just click on it and it goes off. If you don't see these icons down here at the bottom, you can click on the customization and then you can see how to turn them on and turn them off. And I'm not sure, it looks like they don't let you turn. There it is, object snap tracking. So we're good. Alright, I'll just click on the screen, that'll go away. And then we can either draw the other circles or we can copy them. And so if I come back here to AutoCAD, and here we are, and I click on the plate title block, I can draw these circles, but let's try a modify command like copy. And so if I want to copy something, what I do is I go to the modify menu area here, I select copy, and then you get a square for the cursor. It says select objects, and so if I click on it, it'll say 1 found. If I click on another one, it'll say 2 found. And then what it does is it keeps it running total. And then what I'll do is I hit enter to end the selection. Base point means where do I want to copy it from. So I'll just bring it to the center here. I'll click and I'll move that up to there. And it's a modal command, so it lets me do this again and again. So I can put another circle here, I can put another circle here, and I can put another circle right here. And then it'll just keep doing this until I hit escape, or if I right mouse click and I select enter or cancel, it'll end the command. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle around the perimeter of it that just goes around the edge. And these circles are all on the grid, so they're supposed to be very basic. Circle from here, and again, I don't want to go at an angle. I want to go at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock so that the grid lines up with the circle. And I'll just click right there. Now to do the arc is a little bit trickier. What I'll do is I'll use a 3-point arc. A lot of times I'll draw circles and I'll trim them, but for this example we're just going to keep it simple. And so what I'll do is I'll get arc 3-point, and then this arc is located kind of at the bottom here and over. And so if I look at it again and I want to count grid units, it's at the bottom of this grid unit, and then if I count over 1, 2, 3 units, it's right there, and then it's again 3 units to there. And so we're just going to draw these arcs. Come back to AutoCAD, arc 3-point from the bottom edge, 1, 2, 3, click, click, and then if I want to go here, 1, 2, 3, and then I can go back and do this all day. And so we'll come over here, and then we'll go over here, and then if you're confused, you just count it like that. Now it seems to have a mind of its own, right? And so it's going backwards on me here. And so as I go and it starts to frustrate me, I'm going to hit escape, and I'm just going to do it again. And that's just the way it goes. It wants to draw the arcs usually counterclockwise. And so if I go from this point to this point to this point, it seems to be happy. And so we can do the same going with counterclockwise instead of clockwise. And these are just technique. The guys who made the software kind of designed it that way. Let's try a clockwise one and see if we can goof it up. Now it works. So that's how that works. And then once we have those circles and arcs drawn, I can turn the wheel on the mouse, I can push the wheel on the mouse, use what's called navigation to pan my screen. If I want to change the name on the title block, I'll double click, and then I'll change this to my initials, and this is going to be plate number 5, and then today's date. And then you can close the text editor here. It wants to keep going as long as you're in there. Double click on student name, and I can put my name here. If you have a really long name, you can abbreviate your first initial. Other things you can do with it would be to scale it or to move it. And so if you need more room, you can always come in here and you can choose scale, and then you can select your name, hit enter, and this is another modify command where I can come in here. What it wants is a point to shrink from, and you can see with the snap on, it's not letting me move the cursor where I want to, and so sometimes I'll turn off that snap. Snap is turned off with F9, or you can type in the word snap.